All right, Space Dandy episode 1, Live with the Flow, baby. This show I was excited to see it because obviously it was, whenever Toonami finally gets like a new anime coming on, I'm really excited to see, what is this show? Have I seen it before? Just will it be good or not? And generally, whenever they have a show on, oddly enough, I've already seen this show, like Sword Art Online, although it's really new. It came out, I want to say it only came out last year. I saw both seasons because it was so popular and I heard it was so good. I decided, I'll check it out. So I saw that, and then it came to Toonami, and I was like, well, I watched an episode here or there just to see, who they got to play this character. But for the most part, I don't watch it. And Soul Eater, I watched actually on YouTube because Funimation put up the whole series, and then I love that so much, I bought the whole series on Blu-ray. So whenever they have a new show, it's like it's rarely new to me. So when this was announced, it was like, this is a brand new show that, premiered on Toonami today or tonight, however you want to look at it. And, it was the world premiere. It hadn't even premiered in Japan at that point. And I think it was a pretty good show. I think it was really funny. It was made by the people, like, the biggest thing about it is it's made by the people who made Cowboy Bebop, which is obviously a classic anime, Soul Eater, which obviously I love, and Full Metal Alchemist, which is also insanely popular. So it had a lot going for it, even though you could clearly tell it wasn't really like any of those except maybe Cowboy Bebop, because for one, it's in space, and two, you could just tell how silly it was. But altogether, I think it was a pretty funny show. I love the animation. Of course, it's a new series, so it has really good animation to it. I thought that was good. The comedy is definitely well done. It's obviously a really silly show, but it was just so insane. Like, especially the ending scene where they're just like destroying this entire planet, and every time Danny does something, it just releases another super giant weird alien creature. And they had a lot of references in this episode, or at least they had like two or three. One was like when the giant robot was falling down, he like put his thumb up. That was Terminator 2. They had one, and I think the other two were in dialogue, but I can't remember what they referenced. But they had references, and it would be cool to see references in later episodes too, because it's always funny when shows reference other things, and it's obviously it's obvious that the creators like these things. Like, Terminator 2 is a classic film. It's cool that the creators would put that little reference in there for people who also like Terminator 2, and stuff like that is always really cool. So I'd love to see more references throughout the rest of the series, if not every episode, every couple episodes. But those are really cool, and the comedy itself, just the characters are really funny and over the top. Like Dandy, who's just like, he's like a space cowboy, and that's the kind of the aspect where it's like, this is very familiar with Cowboy Bebop, and even the ship kind of looks like Spike's ship. From it doesn't look like his ship, but like the back of the ship has like the circular piece and stuff that looks kind of like the back of Spike's ship from Cowboy Bebop. But he's obviously not as cool as Spike. He's all the silly stuff we see from Cowboy Bebop, and that's it. Like, he's not the action portion. Like when he shoots the gun and stuff and he misses the aliens, I thought that was hilarious. But my favorite part was when he's like spinning the gun and he like puts it behind his back, and you hear it, like it clearly just falls on the ground because he didn't do it right. I thought that was just hilarious because it was so funny. It was like, oh, he's doing something kind of cool, and the animation looked really nice where it is really simple. He's just spinning the gun, and he just throws it, and it's just like and you can hear it hit the ground. I thought that was funny. And the silly animation where Dandy and Meow get trapped like in the rocks, and then the giant shockwave basically pushes the ground down, and they just shoot right up, and they're like back on their feet. I thought that was really funny too. I love Meow as a character, even though he didn't have much. He seemed like almost like a hippie type of character. Like, he's trying to help them out, but at the same time, he doesn't help at all because he can't even remember this entire planet that he's trying to help them find to get new aliens, because even though they're alien hunters, they really just find new species. They aren't really hunters, as Danny kind of put it. But I thought he was a really interesting character, and also the robot's really funny to me. Like, an obsolete robot, it's been done, but I think in this way it's just really funny to me. And he does like silly stuff, and he like power it down, and he has to like a robot who has to read books because he's obsolete, so he can't do anything. I thought that was really funny, and I like just the little chemistry we got to see, because obviously it's only the first episode and it was only half an hour. But the chemistry we got, I thought was really funny. The characters are silly. The narrator, who I thought was one of the funniest parts too, where he's just like, I probably should have mentioned this, and it's like the second half of the episode. He's like, but these people and these people are fighting for like an eternal struggle to rule the entire galaxy. But let's forget about that. And in the beginning where he talks about how man is mastered space travel, but they're like one single species, and there's these and those, and just too many to count. But I'm done now, and stuff like that. I thought it was really funny. So I'm really excited to see what other random silly stuff they do with that, where he's like, because they mentioned how they broke the fourth wall, and that was within like the first 10 minutes. So I'm sure they'll do that, you know, more than once. So that'll be really cool to see too. But overall, I thought really funny show. I'm excited to see some of the other things they kind of introduced, which is mostly just, I guess, the series portion where Dandy is being hunted by this one guy who kind of looks like an old colonial guy with like the super crazy wig. That seems like it'll be the serious portion of the show once they really get to him finally catching up to Dandy and they aren't being lost. And also, I guess, whatever the element was, it was like pymonium or something like that. I feel like that could end up being a serious thing in the story if they do it that way, but it could have just been, a one off random thing. But I feel like it wasn't. So hopefully that will come into the story and it'll be the more serious portion, because I'd like to see this show, as silly as it is, I'd like to see what they do with silly, actual action where Dandy's actually fighting people. And if he does do hand to hand combat, how silly and, crazy and over the top would that end up being, considering him shooting stuff just results in absolute destruction. So excited for the series. I think it's a good show. I'm definitely gonna watch it every week. What do you guys think? Comment below. Let me know. Favorite parts of the episode, least favorite parts. If you had to pick a favorite character, just out of the little bit we've got, who did you guys pick? Would it be Dandy, QT, which I'm curious as to what QT actually stands for, if anything. Would you say it's Meow, or would you say it's the narrator? Because I feel like he's going to be a real big part of the show. But either way, comment below, let me know what you guys think, and thanks for watching.